We're live. I love when that happens. Makes me so excited because it is Wednesday at 1 o'clock and I am delighted to be here with you. So today I have a question from a mom who emailed me and she said, some things in the world cannot be fixed. I need advice on how to calm a toddler over a broken toy that can't be fixed. Yet I tried and it falls apart. So we have all been there. Whether you have kids or have hung out with kids or have been a human in the world, there are things that break that are not fixable. And we don't like that. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. We want to believe that anytime milk is spilled, we can clean it right up without a problem, like that. But it's not true. There are things that are undoable. There are things that are unfixable. There are things that are beyond our control. And it is really, really, really important that we teach our kids that we teach them how to navigate these challenging moments. So, we're going to do 3 suggestions of how to address this. Okay. 3 ways to talk to your kid when things are broken and they're not fixable. The first one is to teach them to accept no, to teach them that they can't always have what they want, to teach them that there are going to be hard moments. How do we do that? Because that feels like a big thing. And it is, but you can do it. And I love action based directions. So I'm going to give them to you. One is create moments where everything's great, where you're having a really good day, and they ask you for something small, something not really significant, and you say no, not because you have to, not because they can't have it, but you say no in order for them to practice this muscle. It's like going to the gym and lifting weights. We lift so we can get strong, so that when we have to put things up in storage, we can lift and put them away, right? Same idea here. We have to exercise that no muscle, that I can't muscle, that you can't muscle, because that is the muscle that needs to be strong for when their toy is broken and it can't be fixed. So create moments when things are okay and it's something small, something they don't really care about, something that doesn't matter. Once they're okay with some of those no's, then start on some middle ground stuff. Maybe you say no to something insignificant when they're a little tired or close to bedtime. Or maybe you say no to something a little bigger when you're having a really great day and you have plenty of time to move through whatever those feelings are. Part of this teaching them to accept no is also doing it in a way that supports their growth. So you say no and offer them something else, or you say no and you say, I know that can come with really big feelings. You want to talk about it? Do you need a hug? So that you give the support, not just a no and walk away and let them feel their feelings, but you say no, and then you help them feel those feelings. You offer them a hug. You ask them, what else might you want instead? What could we do that would be fun right now that's different than that? So that they learn that no is okay, that it's not a bad, horrible, awful thing to hear, but that sometimes no is the answer, and that's okay. When they're okay with that, then when something breaks, when something falls apart, it's that same idea. I didn't like it. It doesn't feel good, but I'm okay. Because whether it is a car, little toy car that breaks and you can't put the wheels back on because the axle got broken, it really can't go on, or it's a a tower that you built that gets knocked over that you can't rebuild because no one knows exactly what it looked like. They're not humongous, gigantic tragedy in the world, but it can feel that way if we have not been taught to accept no, to accept hard moments. So that's what you want to do. And by the way, you might want to tell them that they can accept hard moments, that they can do hard things, because that helps us remember that we can do hard things, right? So in my kitchen, you may have heard me talk about it before. I actually have a sign that says we can do hard things because I need that remember that I can do hard things. You need to teach your kids, and maybe you need the reminder that you can do hard things. It's part of teaching them to accept no. Okay. The second thing is to create teaching moments. So if your kiddo has a really hard time when things break, then when you have time and space and capacity, break things a little bit. just a little bit. You have to teach them, and that means that we have to practice it. Most adults that aren't trying to teach this skill or thinking about it in this way will do everything they can, and you might be doing this, do everything you can in order to protect everything around your kids so that they don't have this moment. You don't want the breakdown. What I'm actually suggesting is that you stop walking on eggshells, that you take down the fence that you have built around all of their stuff and create moments where little things become unfixable. Take a sheet of paper and rip it. Color on the edge of their of something that they've written on. Not something important to them that they've written on, just something they're doodling, you're doodling. Oh, we can't take it back. But what can we do? We can get another sheet of paper. We can make it okay in a different way, but we can't undo what we did. But you have to create those teaching moments. You have to practice this skill. It's sort of like the idea of teaching them to accept no. You are just creating practice moments where you are instigating this, where you say, it's Sunday morning and we have lots of time. We don't have to go anywhere for 3 hours. So if we have lots of big feelings, we can talk about it. Here we are. So we have to take that time to create moments where things get broken and it's okay. That also means creating moments for yourself where your kids are around, they see something of yours break, and you go through the acceptance process because they need to know it's okay. And part of how they're going to learn that is you being okay. So whether it's the coffee maker not working in the morning and you being frustrated, but saying, okay, it's all right. I can get coffee when I get to work. And I'll just have to figure out to get a new coffee maker this weekend or a different way to do this, right? You problem solve it through your own head. Or they see that you have some paperwork that was really important and you spilled some water on it. Oh my goodness, what happens now? Okay, well, I can't, all of the papers are destroyed. I can print out new ones. It's going to be okay. I have a backup. So that they see you going through the big moment, being upset that something is broken that can't be fixed, and then problem solving to find a solution. How else can you get that need met is really what the question is in that moment. And you want to practice that. My block tower broke and it's horrible and the world's going to end and I just am so upset. Well, how can I recreate the proud moment that I was having in building it? You can build another one. You can build a different one. So no, we can't fix certain things, but we can always find a way to recreate what that feeling was creating. What was that need that we had around that thing that made it feel important or hard? Problem solve for it. Help your kids problem solve for it. But you have to do that in teachable moments. Because in the moment that something breaks, they're upset, you're both a little panicked. And if it's right before you have to get out the door to school, there's all of this additional stress. So create teaching moments. That's number 2. And number 3, focus on what does work. Focus what is whole and together. Focus on what is good as opposed to what fell apart. Now, I know if you have like a 3-year-old, that feels like a mind trick that doesn't work because it sometimes feels that way for us. But rather, and if you start building that muscle, if you start teaching them about this now, it'll help them shift their focus so that they're not focused on the car wheel that broke on their toy car that is never going to be okay again, and have them focus on the 3 other cars they have that they like. They might not love it as much as that first one, but they also like them. And they remember that they all have all their wheels intact. So they're okay. Or I'm really upset because the tower broke, but they still have their blocks and they can build something new. Or they have magnetiles instead of blocks so they can make a different kind of construction experience. If we focus on the broken piece and everyone is talking about the broken piece and that's where all the energy is, then it can feel really hard that something's broken. But if we teach our kids, and maybe you need this for yourself, we teach our kids how to focus on, well, that broke and that makes me sad and that's okay. But this isn't broken over here. And I'm really excited about that. Well, then we can have the good and the bad. And then maybe one day they'll just go, oh, that broke. Okay, but this is okay. And that ability to shift focus is what builds resiliency. So you want to make sure that not only are you supporting your kids with whatever feelings they have about something being broken, but that you don't sit in the muck of that, right? There's one thing about feeling sad that something broke, and there's another about being stuck in it. And we want to pull them out of that stuckness and look at what's good. And that might mean that you have a one-sided conversation for a little while with them about the good things, but you want them to be able to start seeing and having that perspective. All right? So, when your kid has a toy that broke and they don't know what to do about it, you're going to make sure that you practice these 3 things ahead of time, right? Ahead of time, you are going to teach them to accept no starting today. Ahead of time, you are going to create teachable moments where things are a little bit broken and it's okay. And then third, and you can do this in the moment when something happens or at another time, you are going to remind them to see the good so they can shift perspective, they can shift focus and say, oh, yeah, I have some feelings about that, but this is okay. Look at all of the goodness that is still in my life. Because in any moment, there is always something good that is still there. Got it? All right, get to it. Go do it. And before you go, if you have a question that you want me to answer in one of these Wednesday Ask Dr. Marcie Anything moments, let me know. Either put it in the comments or shoot me an email so that I can get your questions answered as well. Remember, blue skies are ahead, and we're going to get there together.